It's just such a fun industry to be in because there's so many people like you and me who are dreamers who want to go and create something bigger. And it's an industry where you really can do it. I remember for myself, I was in Hawaii. It was 2020. Lockdowns were in effect, and I somehow got onto the island. It was super hard to get on, but we found a way on. And I'm sitting there with this older gentleman, now a great friend, almost like family. And he's probably in his mid 50s, and he was a builder and had a lot of success and kind of hung it up and retired. He had hit his number, and he asked me this question. He said, "Hey, Steven, well, what's your number? Obviously, you're super driven. You're going after it. Like, at what point is it going to be enough?" And it kind of hit me. Because I had a number. I was like, yeah, $1 million a year in passive income. So if I back into that, that means, 10 million of assets that are generating me, 8 to 10%. And I'm good and I'm covered. But it really kind of led to, well, how do we actually go about doing that? And then what's the point of it? So for you, I'm curious, what do you really want in your life? Like, what are you going after? And like, why is it so important to continue to do the effort to building that life?
Yeah, that's a great segue. I think my number, when you ask me, like I do have a number in mind where I feel comfortable, but I wouldn't stop after that number because I'm really happy with the way life is going right now. I'm a people person. I'm more about meeting great people and having great conversations and kind of opening doors for myself and for other people. So I've been doing that lately through my company. I have multiple agents, multiple employees working with me, and seeing them grow and mentoring younger people that are trying to get into the business, trying to get their feet wet, has been the most fulfilling thing for me. So I know that I can get to my number just by keep doing what I'm doing. But once I get there, I'll probably just do a little less, spend more time with family, start focusing on starting my family, like having kids, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot more to life than just real estate. So I definitely want to, have that, passive income, but I also want to keep doing real estate, but also have time to travel and experience all the other like wonderful things about life, because real estate's a very tiny little sector of life. And I think some people that I know, like my clients, are so obsessed with real estate their whole life that they didn't get to experience all the other, amazing things that life has to give.
Yeah, it's so true. People sometimes forget that this is a vehicle. You can get in a lot of different vehicles to drive where you want to go. This one just happens to be pretty nice and you can go pretty fast and has a lot of different options of what you can do with it. But it really comes down to that life that you want to create. And, when you get clear on what that's all for, it drives you. But something that you said that I want to point out for the listeners is something that I hear from so many successful people. I feel it myself. It's like once you get into something that you love doing and you're good at, you kind of don't really ever see a point where you're going to stop. You feel that?
Yeah, 100%.
You were able to retire your mom. You've built this incredible team of agents. So you've got a business going. You've got your investments. Where are you at today on the path towards hitting that number? Have you made it? And how are you tracking that progress towards, getting to that 6 figures a month?
Yeah, right now I'd say I'm about, passive income purely, not active income from my business. I'd say passively from properties, it's right around that. It depends on the month, but somewhere in between 20 to 25,000 a month, depending on how the properties operate. So I'm about a quarter of the way there. So gonna slowly just inch my way up and keep going. But yeah, enjoying the journey, like you said.
Yeah, that's such an incredible place to be. And did you, how did you end up going about doing that? Obviously, you built the skill of being a realtor, being able to go out and find properties and get access to them. How'd you actually go about becoming an investor? Taking that money that you earned in your career and starting to apply it to assets that would continue to pay you now and forever.
Yeah, one of the best things one of my investors ever told me was, he quoted that you become wealthy from the things that you own, not from the things that you do. And when he said that, it struck me like a lightning bolt, because I realized that I was just kind of in the rat race, just kind of finding the next commission, doing, spending 12, 14 hours a day trying to put deals together. But I was also at the time spending a good amount of money and not saving enough and not focusing on buying properties. So as soon as I heard that when I was, beginning my career and kind of starting to kind of rise up and do more deals, I really focused on learning the skill of underwriting properties, analyzing what a good deal is versus what a bad deal is. Bought my first property as soon as possible and bought it completely by myself, made all the mistakes in the world, hired the wrong contractor, got the wrong loan on it, still made great money on it, but made all the mistakes. And the way I scaled my portfolio fairly quickly is we actually didn't raise any capital from investors in the beginning. My partner and I, we found really good properties to purchase, but we partnered 50-50 and we got very high leverage on really good deals where our equity multiple on the money we put in was super high because leverage is a double-edged sword, right? The higher the leverage, the higher your equity multiple can be, but higher the leverage, the higher the risk. But if you're buying things that are below market value, the risk goes down significantly. So that was how we were able to scale our portfolio fairly quickly.
So from an investment strategy, it sounds like you were flipping, or were you doing kind of a renovate to hold type strategy?
Yeah, so it was half and half. So some were renovate, hold, and refinance and pull our capital out. And then some were hold for 1 to 2 years, sell, and then do a 1031 exchange, tax-deferred exchange into a larger asset. So we never cash out. We always want to keep our money rolling forward, tax-deferred. So yeah, we haven't cashed out on any properties.
Yeah, 1031, it's such a powerful tool. So when you were going in and actually flipping those houses, you'd hold them for long enough, and then you'd 1031 into the next deal?
Exactly, yep.
And when it comes to your time, your split of your time, right? You've got an active business, you're a real estate agent, you're creating some great content, you're teaching people about how to think like an investor, something that I'm a big fan of with the investor mindset. But on the other side, you're also an investor. So how do you split your time between, the things that you're doing to make and earn money versus the things that you're doing to multiply your money and grow your wealth?
Yeah, I think it's tough to measure, but I'd say I spend time every single day on both sides of the business. So I'd say it's somewhere around 50-50. Some days more than others on one side versus the other, but I'm still fairly active in growing both sides of the business, the investment side and the brokerage side. So I'm definitely active in it every single day on both sides.
And do you feel like one is a higher priority at this point in your life than the other?
Ooh, I've never been asked that before. I think priority-wise, I think they're equal in different ways. I think priority for being able to become, more and more financially free as I go, more and more wealthy. The investment side has much more benefits, but the brokerage side, my business side, has other priorities because, like I said before, I prioritize people, and if people are taking a chance on my company and working with me, I want to make sure that they succeed. So I do a lot of managing, training, hiring, redeveloping systems, trying to market as much as I can and give leads to my agents. So I'd say both are a priority, just in different ways.
Yeah, and it's such a hard question to answer because, I've had that same question asked to me, and, I've obviously in the business, we run a private equity company. We buy a large multifamily in Denver and around the country. And then I've got, an education company where we're teaching people how to think like an investor and invest in those same type of deals. And when somebody asks the question, hey, well, what's your priority? If you have two priorities, you have no priorities. And it's so hard to answer because it's like, no, but the education's so important because it's like literally changing the way people think so they can actually go and do the things that's going to change their life. But yet the private equity company is the place where, we earn the most wealth. It's your equivalent of the investments that you're doing. And so it's always hard to be able to balance that. Yet, in your business, I would imagine that the brokerage business is quite profitable. you're out there making great commission, you're earning immediate money. The ability to make that money and earn it allows you to then have money to then go invest and begin that process of multiplying. And when done correctly, your brokers should be able to sell just as many properties as you, and you can get that VIG, that percentage on top. And in the end, you'll earn more money there, but then you'll be able to, reduce taxes and do a lot of other stuff on the investing side.
Exactly. Yeah. Very well said. How's your education business? Is that one pretty profitable too?
It's profitable. It's a lot of fun. I haven't invested as much time building that as I have building the private equity company. But the people that I've been able to work with over the years, it's so fulfilling. Like, I can imagine when you're putting out content and you get the comments back and people talk about, referencing you as somebody that was able to make a change in their life. Like, personally, that feels good. Like, it feels good to be able to give back and know that all these years spent learning things, I'm able to pass along to other people. I make way more money in the private equity business, but the training business doesn't do too bad.
Amazing. It's good stuff.
When you're looking, you're young, but you've obviously tried a lot of things in a short amount of time. You've had some good success. We've been on a great bull run since we've both gotten into the real estate game. Talk to us a little bit about what hasn't worked in the past when it comes to making and multiplying money.
I think what hasn't worked was partnering with people that I didn't fully align with. So I think the only deal where I partnered with one person that I wasn't too familiar with just didn't work out well. We both got on each other's nerves. We both kind of saw things differently, got in arguments, and even though we did okay on the deal, I thought we lost because it just took a lot of mental bandwidth out of my day. So that was something that took up a lot of my time and a lot of my energy. So that was one.
What happened with that deal that made it stressful?
Yeah, so it was a big renovation project. We were going to add 2 units and renovate the existing 4 units, all 3 bedrooms. And
so a development deal.
The contractor that he chose just did not work out. He was like 6 months behind on everything. It was a nightmare to work with them, and nothing was done properly. So, and no one was listening to me. So I would put in my input. I would try to change things. I would try to do things differently because things weren't working. But they on the other side were not receiving it. So that, I think, a lack of good communication, a lack of trying to help each other out was bad. I mean, obviously I had some faults too, but I think that when both partners don't want to listen, it becomes a very big issue.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, partnership, good partners. I've had bad partners. I've invested passively in deals that had terrible partners. I've invested passively that have amazing partners, and it really sucks. It just sucks.
Thank you for listening to the Investor Mindset Podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share with a friend. Head over to theinvestormindset.com to join the Insider Club, where we share tools and strategies from the top investors and entrepreneurs on how to take it to the next level.